Hello, and welcome back to the channel. As most of you know, I'm Topher. And for those of you who don't know and just randomly decided to click on my video, welcome to the channel. I'm Topher. Thank you for stopping by. So we're here to do a reaction, and we're diving back into the Untamed. We're diving into episode 32. Episode 31 was not a happy episode. I'm so upset about all the things. It's been about a week since I've watched it, and I'm still upset. Everybody died. It was terrible. I hate it here. Yeah, so we're gonna dive into episode 32 and see who dies this episode. Yay! As always, if you want early access to these reactions, you can join us over on Patreon for free. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. If not, they'll be released in normal time on YouTube as they are weekly. Well, once again, that episode flew by. We just kind of breezed through the episode, which again is just a testament to good, captivating storytelling. Yeah, I mean, the majority of the episode took place within one location. We were at the Golden Unicorn Tower, looking at the aftermath of what we saw last episode. Ginger Swan's death, my sweet cinnamon roll and his big sister giving themselves up and, also being put to death. And I guess the other Wen clan, like at the beginning of the episode, guards or whoever, like, I can't believe he took mercy on the Wen people, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, he let them live. But maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but we had people hanging. We had grandma hanging. I don't know. I hope nothing happened to little sweet boy, but I don't know. But yeah, we had Wuxian basically wanting to see his sister, and then I'm assuming wanting to apologize. Again, it's not his doing. And now that I've seen that in that last scene, there's someone else with a flute who's out here also conjuring up this dark magic and just using Wuxian as a scapegoat. Now I'm hypothesizing, thinking, perhaps person with the flute was also somewhere nearby that day on the path when Wuxian was getting ambushed. And maybe he started to play his flute, and that's why Sweet Boy went and killed Yan Li's husband and also the other Jin asshole. Perhaps. So it seems as though, like, Wuxian's not really helping his case. I was going to say, it seems as though Wuxian is definitely the victim of, not a cover-up, but of just somewhat like a setup. He's the victim of a setup, and someone is setting him up to take the fall for all of this stuff going down, because he's already putting himself out there and he's not denying this, that, well, in a sense, there's some things he's not denying, and there's other things where he's like, look, y'all came at me and I fought back. So, but he's already given himself a bad name, we'll put it that way, in the world of the cultivators right now. So whoever's got this other flute is out here basically setting stuff up for him, and like, hey, you know what, we're gonna let him take the fall for this. We're gonna just, meanwhile they're off doing whatever they're doing. What are their reasonings? What is their ultimate goal? Don't know. Probably world domination like everybody else. But yeah, I remember when we first killed the Wen Rohan and we, took down the city in Nevernight. That they were talking about, they destroyed the 3 pieces of the yin iron, but there's still one piece that's missing, and they keep hypothesizing that Wuxian is the person who has this piece because he plays this flute and his powers are operating similarly. But he's like, no, I don't have that. I've got this tiger talisman. It's completely different from this yin iron that you're looking for. And they mentioned they kept mentioning a name, and I don't remember what the name is right now, but like someone who may have been sent by Wen Rohan to retrieve the last piece of the yin iron, and nobody could find this person. Like, who is this person? Where's this person? I ain't never seen this person a day in my life. But they mentioned the name and like, well, we haven't seen him and there's no proof or anything like that. But Wei Wuxian, he's got these powers, so he must have the talisman. And we just focus all of our attention on Wuxian. So this potentially could be that person who we were talking about all those episodes ago, who was supposed to find that last piece of the iron. Maybe he found that last piece of the iron and he out here causing mayhem and mischief. Don't know. Don't know. But yeah. So Wuxian wanted to go apologize to his sister or something along those lines. He wanted to see her, but obviously not cause a spectacle. So as soon as he was seen by Jin's mama, and she's like, "It's Wei Wuxian, guards!" He fled because, again, he's not trying to cause a scene. He's not trying to cause any more of a spectacle. He just wanted to see his sister and try and maybe repent or something to, which, you really can't, it's not something you can just make up for. Her husband died. Again, it was not by his hand. He didn't do it. He didn't directly cause it, but he did, and the whole world is blaming him for it. I know in her heart of hearts, she knows that he did not do anything to her husband. He did not cause his death. I know. And I'm pretty sure in that last scene before she got stabbed, that's what she was about to say, or something along those lines of, I forgive you, or, forgive yourself. I know you didn't do anything wrong, blah, blah, blah. She was going to say something along those lines because that's her character. That is just her character. Even to the very end, she is the sweetest, just most caring sister you could ask for, and worrying about everyone else. Her back has been scalped. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to worry about my brother here, who is out here causing all kinds of mayhem and mischief. So I'm certain that she's not dying with harboring any sort of resentment towards Wuxian. But Wuxian doesn't know that. So after he fled, he came across some of the other low-level cultivators, and they're out here just, talking smack, talking big game, as they tend to do. And then they got smacked the fuck down. And they're like, oh, don't hurt me. Why would you waste your time on me? I'm just a low-level cultivator. You should go take on these people. It's like, and Wuxian's like, I mean, you're right. I should be taking on these people. But also, just because you're a low-level cultivator, does that mean that I should have to endure all of the bad mouthing, all of the hostility, the negativity, and everything that you guys are constantly throwing my way just because you're a low-level cultivator? No, just because you might be of a lower level than me, we're not on the same, doesn't mean that I have to put up with you out here bashing my character and talking negatively about me, my morals, this, that, and the other. No. You want to talk a big talk? Well, fuck around and find out. In a nutshell. So then Wuxian goes to the temple to basically crash the tea ceremony, or pouring out the drinks for the dead, this, that, the other. And we had a lot of back and forth, and basically that scene between Wuxian on the roof and all the conversations with the people, the cultivators down on the ground, was just the summary of everything happening in this universe. Everything that is, I won't say wrong because there's a lot of gray area in this universe, but everything that is like just all the issues that exist within this cultivator's universe, and just the hierarchy of these grand clans and this, that, the other, and their ideologies and whatnot. Because literally Wuxian, and I'm not going to sit here and say that everything Wuxian has done is right and this, that, the other, but as far as a moral compass goes in the show, aside from my sweet boy, my cinnamon roll, and Yan Li, who are, the two sweetest people in the world and don't deserve any sort of bad things that happen to them. And of course, they'd have to die back to back, in episodes, naturally. We always got to kill all the good people we love, right? But aside from those two, everyone else has had some sort of skewed moral compass at some point. Some people's moral compasses are skewed more than others, but like there's been a lot of gray area. We've been living in a lot of gray area. Yan Li, sweet pure light. My Wei Ning, sweet, pure light, cinnamon roll sweetness. They were the only just absolute good, lawful good. Like if we were on the alignment chart, lawful good. They are just the sweetest people in the world. Don't want to hurt a fly, and they don't deserve any of the bad things that have come their way. But yeah, so we're living in this sort of, you know, morally gray area throughout a lot of the series, but that scene really just kind of encompasses all of the issues that we've been dealing with this entire time. Wuxian is basically saying, hey, this is what's happening. They made up their mind about what's happening. They're not going to listen to whatever he's going to say because they've already made him out to be the villain. And it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter how he phrases it. He's the villain. He's wrong. So they're like, how could you kill all these blah, 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 blah? And he's like, if I remember, y'all's men ambushed me. So I fought back. I defended myself. How could you be so cruel when you defended yourself? There were 30 innocent people, blah, blah. So then he called him out on that bullshit. He's like, okay, I see how it is. So you guys don't spare a single thought when it comes to ambushing or attacking. And if I died, then it would have just been because of my own foolishness. But you guys attack me and I fight back, then all of a sudden I'm in the wrong. And like, they have nothing to counter that argument because it's the God's honest truth. It doesn't matter what he did, he's always going to be in the wrong. Even if he was in the right, he is in the wrong because they have decided that he is in the wrong, and they are going to spin whatever narrative they need to tell the entire world so that he will remain in the wrong. It doesn't matter how right he was or how wrong he was at any given time. He could have been, I don't know, he could have saved the entire planet from a meteor crashing, this, that, the other. But they said that he was wrong. So he was wrong for doing that. Like, it doesn't matter. They've already decided that he is the bad guy. So whatever he says is wrong. And they can't argue with what he's saying. So then they just keep trying to bring up other things that he did. And he's like, okay, you want to bring up this? Well, how about this? Like, well, weren't you the one who cursed asshole over here? It's like, do you have any proof that I cursed him? Do you have any proof that you didn't curse him? Okay. Well, do you have any proof that you didn't curse him? Because if I have to prove myself, shouldn't you have to prove yourself too? Like, again, you have no proof. He's like, how could I be like you? You're the most suspicious person, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yes, he's suspicious, but being suspicious does not make him guilty. And just because you want to pin everything on him, so like, I feel like that whole scene was just such a good just encapsulation of everything we're saying, because it doesn't matter how Wuxian explains himself, these people are not going to listen. They are so thick-headed and they have decided they are right. So it doesn't matter what proof, evidence, or anything that Wuxian does to clear his name. He could come out here with a full 200 slide PowerPoint presentation about who cursed Jin, asshole over there, who did this, here's where the yin iron is, here's the other person playing the flute, blah, blah, blah. He could have video recaps and all this kind of stuff. He could have all the evidence in the world. And they're not going to listen because they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They've decided he's a bad guy, so he's a bad guy. So at that point, Wuxian's like, you know what? Fine. Y'all want to fuck around and find out? Well, no. First, homeboy shot him with an arrow. And then everyone's like, yes, he got him. Yes. And then Wuxian just plucked that shit out and then sent that arrow right back at him. All of a sudden, everyone's like, how could you do that? And it's like, bitch, you just saw him shoot me first. I was in the middle of a goddamn sentence. He couldn't even wait till I finished my thought, whatever. He shot me when I was not looking, when I was not paying attention, when I was off guard. He shot me in front of all of y'all. So I responded. And now y'all want to be bad at me because I responded to y'all attacking me. But then when you want to attack the Wen clan, this, that, the other, you want to talk about how, oh, it's war, casualties of war, this, that, the other. It's like, bullshit. So then he whips out his flute and he's like, fine, I'm going to cause all mayhem and mischief. But again, like I was saying there in the early parts of that scene, once all the smoke monsters were coming out, I'm like, okay, I feel like these they're just playing. He's just playing around, acting a fool. Because if he wanted, again, like he was saying about the asshole Jin guy, if I wanted to kill him, I would kill him. So like, I feel like if he wanted to kill all of these cultivators here, he would kill all of these cultivators here. But like the smoke is just tossing them around. They're just tossing, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting here like, is the smoke actually going to kill anybody? Because I just see him like flying and spinning, blah, 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 blah. Then, you know, of course, Lan Zhan comes and tries to reason with him, and Wuxian is... We're at an impasse at this point. Lan Zhan keeps wanting to save Wuxian, but at this point, Wuxian's path is kind of fixed. He can't deviate from this now. There is nowhere else. There's no other route for him to go. You know, the Wen camp survivors that he rescued, whatnot, they're gone. They're not here anymore. You know, the whole little village, the Yingling patriarchy, this, that, the other that he had going on in the burial mounds, no one's there anymore. It's just him. It's just him on his own at this point. So there's really, aside from like running halfway across the world and just living and hiding or something like that, there's nothing for him to do. There's not another path for him to take at this point. He's too far in. He's too deep. So it sucks because we would love for them to get a happy ending, but we're at this impasse. And so they fight a little bit, and then for whatever reason, Yanli decided she wanted to come to this battlefield. She decided she needed to come to this battlefield to find her brothers again. Maybe when she initially set out to come to this place, she wasn't aware that it was a battlefield, because the battle just broke out a few minutes ago, and you know, it was supposed to be like a remembrance ceremony for all the fallen warriors. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. But me seeing that there is a battle going on once I arrive, I'd be like, perhaps I should not be here, because Yanli is not a cultivator. She's not like Mama Jiang, who was a badass in the sense of, I will fight everyone. I got my purple lightning and I will whoop ass. Yanli is not a whoop ass kind of badass. She's a badass woman. Don't get me wrong. Yanli has shown the strength of character and all kinds of badassery throughout the series, but she is not the kick-ass kind of badass woman. That's not her thing, and that's not everyone's thing, and that's fine. So her badassery should not be on this battlefield. So me being that type of person who, you know, recognize, okay, this is not my type of badassery, I'ma just back up, go back to my golden unicorn tower, and just wait to hear about what happened here. You know, hopefully my brothers will make it out alive. But you know, she really needed to see Wuxian. She really needed to see him. So she's just strolling through this battlefield. Xian. I'm like, girl, this is the battlefield. There are people literally flying past you, being tossed by smoke demons. Girl, this is not the time to be just out here aimlessly with no protection, just scream. Like, girl. So I already knew she was going to die. As soon as I saw the setting for where this tea ceremony was happening, and I saw Wuxian on top of that thing and he was antagonizing, I knew a battle was going to break out. I knew she was going to die. Not from any spoilers that you guys gave me this time. Spoilers Google gave me, because I forget, I think it was last episode, or no, it wasn't even last episode, because I just released episode, this is 32, so 31 was the last one I did. So I just released episode 30 on YouTube this past week, and when I was making the thumbnail for that, I Googled the Untamed episode 30, like I do every single episode when I'm making my thumbnail, and try to find like just some screen grab or something from the episode that I can use for my thumbnail on YouTube. And in that search, I saw a picture of her where she had the blood stain on her chest, and Cheng was holding her. So I was like, oh, well, shit. Granted, I already knew she was not going to be alive in present day, because we already knew of her death pre-time skip, or pre-flashback, so I already knew she was going to die at some point, but I didn't need to know that I didn't need to see her die. Like, I would have been just happy knowing that after Wuxian died and we did this whole time jump or whatever, she died somewhere in that time period. Like, she died off screen sometime after. She lived a nice, happy, long life, and she died blah blah blah. I didn't need to see her actually bite the dust. So yeah, I knew she was good. As soon as I saw the setup here, I was like, okay, this is the episode where she dies. So it didn't. Perhaps had I not seen that thumbnail or that, whatnot, it might have hit me a little bit harder. I might have been a little bit more emotional, but it still sucks. It sucks. Because again, her and my sweet cinnamon roll are the two people in this series who deserve none of this shit. They deserve none of it. They are the good boy and good girl. They deserve nothing but happiness, sunshine, flowers, and rainbows. That's all they deserve. They don't deserve all of this death and destruction coming to them. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But that seems to be the curse of being the good character in these series. So yeah, she floated onto the battlefield and ended up getting killed. The first strike wasn't enough to, and I didn't think the first strike was enough to kill her, but once she got hit from behind, I was like, okay, maybe I was misseeing, or maybe I'm misremembering the thumbnail I saw. Maybe she didn't get, like, I remember there being like a blood spot on the front of her thing, but I'm like, maybe I was just misremembering. Maybe someone else's blood got on her or something at some point. But then as soon as she was having her conversation and I saw her push him out of the way, I'm like, ah, shit, yeah. I guess that first strike wasn't enough to kill her. And it makes me sad because, again, she doesn't deserve this. But now I feel like I have the full, or I have enough information to understand why Chang harbors such an intense, I won't say hatred, disdain towards Wuxian in present day. Again, feelings are misplaced, misunderstanding, because nobody else seemed to notice that while that flute was playing, Wuxian's lips were like 10 feet away from his flute. And he was looking off to the side. So it's like, unless Wuxian had been out here lip fluting this whole time, lip syncing to this flute track, that's not him playing right now. But nobody else seemed to witness that. And even if he said that it wasn't him, nobody's going to believe him. Because like, okay, well, who else was it going to be? So I can see why Chang harbors such an intense feeling towards him, because at this point, he's blaming him for a lot. There's a lot of bad things that have happened that he's tried to give Wuxian the benefit of the doubt, and now like things are just stacking up not in Wuxian's favor. So right now, his last, aside from his nephew, his last living relative, his sister, his dear big sister who he loves and cherishes more than life itself, is now dead, and he's blaming Wuxian. In his head, Wuxian caused this, even though we saw this person over here strike her from behind, and this person over here who wasn't a puppet stab her from the front. Still, he believes Wuxian was controlling the puppets, and the puppets what slashed her, and then this guy was going for Wuxian and she pushed him out of the way. So it's like he's gonna blame him for her death, amongst other things, other people's deaths, the fall and demise of of his clan originally, the death of his parents. Like he's just gonna compound all of this stuff and just blame Wuxian for it, and it sucks because Wuxian's not completely to blame. It's not completely his fault, but such is the way the cookie crumbles. And yeah, so man, this has been a death-heavy couple episodes. The end of this flashback, they ain't fucking around. They're not pulling any punches. All I need now is Meng Yao to bite the dust, Jin Clan leader to bite the dust, whoever that other asshole clan leader with the top knot, he can go ahead and bite the dust. He hasn't irritated me as much as some of these other people, but he get on my nerves. He can bite the dust. The guy who killed Yan Li did bite the dust. Wuxian took care of that with a quickness. Yeah, I just need those people to bite the dust, and I need nothing to happen to Lan Zhan's brother. For the love of God, please don't let anything happen to him. Obviously, Lan Zhan is still alive after the time skip, so he's fine. Chang's still alive. Baby survives. yeah, I think that's all the people that I really need to survive right now. Everybody else is kind of inconsequential to me and can kind of just fall off a cliff. That's fine. But yeah, we'll just have to wait till the next episode to see where it goes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, turn on notifications to be notified when all of my shenanigans get posted. If there's anything else you'd like me to react to, be sure to leave it down in the comments. I'll get to it as soon as I possibly can. If you'd like to support the channel in other ways, you're more than welcome to join us over on Patreon. You don't have to, but you're more than welcome to if you want to. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Love ya.